We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Stephen Willis here with the POMcast on this beautiful Thursday morning. I hope everybody is doing quite well. I know we are. It is a beautiful day in Central Florida down at the palatial Central Florida studios. I want to tell you a little bit about the Vault Society. Vault Society is the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation's kind of most prestigious level of giving. Basically, it's a big push right now for Vault Society support, which is a 5-year commitment of support, and the membership starts at $5,000 a year. My Simpson County math tells me that is a minimum of $25,000 donated. But you can obviously take that, put that on your fandom resume, and show that off to all your friends. Now, all the gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and go towards parking and non-home ticketed games. That'd be bowl games, postseason, neutral site, etc. If you have any questions about it, you can consult the website. It is at give2athletics.com. Again, that is give2athletics.com. That is the Vault Society. Again, my name is Stephen Willis. This is the POMcast. We're having a good time today. This is probably going to be a relatively short show today. We have the baseball preview coming out at about lunchtime today. That's already in the can. That's already loaded. So you can stick around and see that. And we're going to talk a little bit today about where the Ole Miss offense is going, what this means, and everything that is going on. Now, you can check on everything with the offense and why it's happening, but until you understand why it's happening, everything looks like it has some kind of ulterior motive, but it doesn't necessarily do that. In the second segment of the show, we're going to do a baseball preview. So it's like 5 minutes of the 25 minutes video. We'll release that on this show as well. So I'm pretty fired up about that. Let's see what else. Okay, if you want to watch us, which you are, or you might be listening to us, you can catch us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis and at the Rebel Walk. Catch us up on, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, Facebook, at facebook.com/POMcast. Hit us up on YouTube at youtube.com, at positivelyolemiss. Hit the bell for notifications. You'll be able to tell not just that we're streaming, what we're streaming. You can determine if it's your interest or not. And we're on Twitch at positivelyolemiss, all one word. We also have a catch-all for Ole Miss videos and non-Ole Miss videos. Eventually that's going to be Disney and things like that. That's at Willis Digital Media on YouTube, Willis Digital Media on YouTube, and Twitch at Willis Digital Media, all one word. So that is our catch-all for that. If you're more of a podcast listener, thank you very much. There's other avenues for you if you want it. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. We're also on several smaller podcatchers, but it'd take all day to name them if they named them. So listen to the show, watch the show, however you want to take it. We are where you are. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, today's kind of a special day because, this being finals week, there hasn't been a lot going on. Yeah, I mean, Friday night, Ole Miss plays South Carolina in baseball, and Ole Miss plays Southern California in the NCAA tournament in soccer. I think that is a 6 o'clock start from Wilmington, North Carolina. You can watch the Rebs take on the Trojans from Southern California. And then just flip on over to the Ole Miss versus South Carolina game, watch the baseball game. Talking to Chad Smith today, their lineup's going to be an issue with the way that we do fastballs and the way that they hit home runs. There's a chance of balls leaving the yard quite rapidly. They have 2 players with double-digit home runs. I think they have 1 guy with 15. So something to keep an eye on. We hit that on the preview. I'm not going to go into it too far here just because, preview's there. It's 25 minutes of college baseball. The other thing we're going to talk about is the Ole Miss offense. Now, we've done Boot Camp the Offense where we followed them from the very beginning. It was the very first thing we did on this channel back basically a year ago, looking at Lane Kiffin's offense. So we've studied it. We broke it down. We noticed little differences in staff members. Now, what you need to realize is the tempo aspect of this offense is the Baylor spread. So whenever he takes a new job, he tries to bring in Baylor-type coaches to install it. It's seamless. It's the way things need to be done. You can look at it and understand the routine of catch a pass, get tackled, where's the ball go, things like that, and it becomes second nature. Well, after the initial part of that first year, there's a tendency for Lane Kiffin to move on to his guys, more recruiters, more. It's not going to change the system because even without them, they're going to run the Baylor system. There's no doubt, and he's going to find somebody that can call plays, or he'll call him himself. But it was easier to come to Ole Miss with Joe John Finley and Randy Clements and Jeff Lebby and install the tempo aspect of this team. Notice they didn't bring any Baylor guys on the defensive side of the ball. It's just on the offensive side. It was about building tempo. And once that gets second nature to where upperclassmen can teach underclassmen, and the way it needs to be done becomes a little bit simple and there's not as much of an install, then the recruiters start showing up. And recruiting is going to be a major part of this team. Recruiting is going to be a dynamic part of this team, and it is going to be a goal for Lane Kiffin to get these recruiting classes in the 5 to 15 range. That's his goal. Now, I'm not saying it can happen one way or another, but that is his goal. He wants to recruit at a very high level at Ole Miss, and he has the ability to do that. And you can see them over the last year on social media branding the program as fun. Everything they're doing is about recruiting. The spring game, opening up the stadium where general admission can come in and see it. It's all about recruiting. They can't visit yet. There's still a moratorium until June 1st, but this way you can get people on your campus, and that is what we need to realize. That is, it's all about recruiting. It's all about the next step, and he's recruiting at a fairly high level at the moment. I mean, he does things a little bit differently, and that is great. So do we. Sometimes it's the way to do things if you come at it from a different angle, and that's the reason they were so successful. I think in a year when he took the job and nobody was able to come take a visit, Ole Miss finished 17th or 18th in recruiting. Now, I'm going to be the first person to tell you that recruiting rankings do not matter. They just don't. They're just an opinion of an opinion. People come up with it's like coming up with a poll and then doing a content item based on that poll. So you basically are doing some kind of an insular bubble thing about content. Recruiting rankings are the same way, because the reality, especially in college sports, there's 10, 15 different types of major systems, like large spread out systems over college football. Well, that would be 10 to 15 different rankings. The players would fall at different levels in those rankings. But they don't do that because it's easier to sell if it's simplified, just one. So everything is combine centric. There's more of an opportunity for bust. This is the reason there's so few of their predictions go in the NFL draft tonight. You're going to see two stars and 3 stars and people that fell between the cracks, and it's because of system. It's because there's not enough people to cover everybody, and it's because they can't afford to do it correctly. That is the reason for that. Well, Lane Kiffin has a relatively unique system. He does. When it comes to his offense, they do a lot of stuff that the pros do, but you add the tempo and the zone and the duo and the pass game, the jet sweeps, and all the things that he does, it's a little bit different. And through these substitutions and everything that they have built on this Baylor system and bringing them in, now once the substitution patterns and everything works to where you can do things relatively quickly. Like the Alabama game, there was a 3rd down, then it switched to a go for it on 4th down. The formation completely changed. Snoop Connor had like a 25-yard run, and that's just the result of the tempo and the operation of this offense. And this is an important piece of this offense. Now, Lane Kiffin still likes a lot of the stuff he used to do whenever he was at Southern Cal the first time with Pete Carroll under Norm Chow. That's where his tree lies, and a lot of their plays are going to feature that. The running game is going to be the old Denver Broncos TD zone blocking scheme. The pass game is going to be relatively quick, utilizing the tight end, utilizing the slot receiver. The outside receivers are going to be there for double moves and blocking. They're going to be bigger guys. There's a set standard for what recruiting should look like. So just because somebody says, hey, this player, wide receiver X, is a player that we need to see, and he's 6 foot 165, he doesn't fit what we do on the outside. And if he's not a slot receiver and have those type of elite ball skills and plays, it's going to be a net negative. People need to understand that. And most of this offense in the pass game is going to go through the slot receiver and the tight end over the middle of the field. This is a hash mark to hash mark offense. Now, shot plays over the top, the double moves and all the stuff that we all see, that's for the outside receivers. And it also forces them to come in a little bit less. It forces them to give a little bit more cushion. They're afraid of getting double moved. The inside, with the tight end and all that, you can block. And every pass play has a run tag, and every run play has a pass tag. And the defense can never be right with this offense, especially whenever you put the tempo aspect involved and the tag aspect. So we're going with a little Frankenstein's monster of an offense that started way back when as a living creature, as a combination of the Baylor offense, the air raid, and Lane Kiffin, Norm Chow stuff, who threw it all over the yard with Matt Leinart and Carson Palmer and all those guys. So you can see, and the Art Briles stuff is a combination of him being in high school and running the wishbone, what he used to do, and the Mike Leach air raid. That is the combination of those two systems that eventually added the tempo that Lane Kiffin saw and added the Norm Chow stuff to. It's a big Frankenstein's monster of an offense, but it's a very specific offense. Now, you can't just go with it. You can't just do this. You can't bring it in. There's a certain way that needs to be done, and part of that was the operation, the substitutions, and the tempo that they play with. That is the most important thing about this offense is the tempo, because the plays are relatively simple. I mean, but it makes them more effective whenever you add that, and then you bring the pass and the run tags, bring those in, along with a very simple offense, and you have the Lane Kiffin system. And moving forward, I think this is going to expand, and I think they're going to concentrate more on recruiting, because now we've gotten to a situation. It's like whenever you get a dog, and if you don't have one, it's difficult to housebreak the dog. You know, it's kind of hard. But if you have another dog that's already housebroken, it's fairly easy to train that new dog how to be housebroken as well. So just understand that and what's going on. The Randy Clements thing is a lot about that. With recruiting opening up June 1st, this was probably gnawing on his mind, and it probably wasn't at a level that he was very happy recruiting. That's what all this is about. But, you know, don't invent drama, basically. Don't invent drama when there doesn't seem to be any. And also here in a couple of weeks, Chance Campbell and Tywan Malone and all those guys are going to be showing up on campus, so I'm excited about that. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk a little bit about the South Carolina game. We have a preview of the preview. And then we're going to get out of here, and I'll give you a couple minutes back. So until then, stick around.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
All right, welcome back to the POMcast on this Thursday. I'm very excited. South Carolina coming up this weekend. Ole Miss, really a must-win series. Ole Miss needs that. You can't afford to drop 5 in a row. But must-win series there. And we have a preview coming up in a couple of minutes, and that's going to be the basic end of the POMcast. So after this interview, you can go about your business. But, you know, I'm having a good time doing these videos with Chad. Having a good time doing these videos with Chris. And all these extras that are coming on. So it's been a lot of fun. But football is a very special thing. And eventually, once we get to the football season, there's probably going to be several type videos that we do for football. I'm thinking 3 or 4 at the moment during the week, on top of the POMcast, where we're actually talking about Ole Miss football as well. So I'm very excited about that. We're talking about potentially doing a Monday morning quarterback video to where we get in the weeds a little bit. And around the SEC also is going to come back. So stay tuned to this channel. We have a lot of stuff coming in the near future, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get out of here today, this is our preview of our baseball preview. And we did about I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes in this preview. The full 25 minutes is going to come out about noon Central Time, 1 Eastern. But here it is. Let's see. Turn the sound off there real quick. Just a little bit of a taste of what the baseball preview is today. Thank you. Hotty toddy. South Carolina Gamecocks. I am a little bit concerned because the one thing I know about South Carolina is their ability to hit the long ball. And I worry with our fastball-centric pitchers, there's going to be a chance for balls leaving the park. Am I wrong there?
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Two guys that I'm really worried about for Ole Miss, and the Rebs have got to come out and attack these guys. So the first guy I'll mention is Brady Allen. Brady Allen is typically the leadoff, or he's been in the number 2 and the number 3 hole. His batting average, he's batting for 320 right now, but he's got 11 home runs, one of 2 Gamecocks to have more than 10 home runs. And he also has 8 stolen bases when he gets on. So we want to limit this guy. We want to tie this guy down, preferably when we want to strike him out at the plate and not even allow him on the bases. But he's one of them. The other one that I'm concerned about is Wes Clark. Wes Clark has 15 home runs on the season so far. Just Wes Clark. So I mean those are pretty gaudy numbers when you look at hitting. So we're going to want to pitch really carefully, really deliberately in our pitch selection and in our location.
Yeah, it sounds like a couple of people that you just really don't want to mess around with. Other than those two, what are we looking at just with the rest of their lineup?
Sure. Most of them are in the high 200s, anywhere from 240 to 270, 278 batting average. So you get a lot of strikeouts with this team. And that's where I think we'll need to make our focus. Striking out the guys that we can get, that we know we can get, and we've got plenty of video on these guys. I'm sure they've gone through this quite a bit this week, and Coach B is really been in the video room just making sure that he can spot these guys' tendencies, and I think that's where we need to concentrate. In the middle part of that lineup, middle to the bottom of the lineup.
Okay. And switching over to Ole Miss's bullpen. Now, we got 3.1 innings from Jack Doherty. Without that, him putting up 1 earned run during that change, that comeback can't happen.
That's right.
Do you think we're starting to find something a little bit in the bullpen and a couple extra arms?
I do. And on Doherty, he's a of course, the freshman that had the red shirt taken off of him, he's got a lot more potential than that goes beyond just the bullpen after this year. This year we've got the number of starting pitchers we need so far. Let me say that. I don't want that to come back and get us and us have to go to another change because of an injury or anything. But Jack, allowing him to come back out into from the bullpen, that will allow him the ability to learn from his teammates, learn from his mistakes. And I believe Coach Bianco has really found kind of a crown jewel in the rough, a diamond in the rough, if you will, a diamond in the rough in that bullpen. So by doing that, he's also made this other change by moving Diamond into the bullpen. which, if you remember on the times that he's come in, he started in Gunner's place on Friday night and actually did a very good job while he was he was starting in the place for our Friday night ace. I think he should be commended for what he did. He pitched very well. What's letting us down right now is our and I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything like that, but the middle part of our lineup is where we need to have it shored up. If Gunner's good to go this weekend, Friday, and then Nikhazy starts and McDaniel starts, and they can have decent outings, I would say 6 innings from the first 2 guys to 4 innings from McDaniel. Let him grow, keep continuing to progress. Then you can bring in Jack Doherty. You can bring in Derek Diamond to eat up some of those middle innings and pitch around them, make them more of a surprise, and use those plus fastballs and plus pitches where we need to. Then you get to our closer. Poor Taylor Broadway. I hate to say anything bad about him. I mean, he went out there and performed a gutsy performance, and hats off to him. And I think he's going to be relied on to do more of that this year. But if you went up to him and interviewed him right now, he'd probably be saying, "You know what? I want the ball in my hands at any time. Give it to me." So we're going to get past that.